welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video is going to be a study with me vlog, so I'm going to be taking y'all along with me as to how I study as a nursing student. I'm actually a new grad nursing student, so I just graduated from the University of Pennsylvania not too long ago. I'm currently studying for my NCLEX. If you didn't know, that's the test where you get your nursing license. I just wanted to take y'all along with me and show y'all kind of like what that looks like. I feel like it'll be helpful if you're trying to learn how to study as a nursing student in general, but also specifically if you want to know how to study for the NCLEX. I feel like this is a whole new type of thing that I honestly wasn't really prepared for real, but I feel like I've been studying for a while, so I know how to navigate this area. I'm going to be giving y'all tips, like I said, on how I study. I am actually going to head out to the library to set up for my studying space, and of course I'm taking y'all along with me because we're vlogging today. We're going to head out to the library, and I guess I will talk to you guys when we get there. Hey guys, what's up? So I finally made it to the library. I got settled in. I'm gonna go show you guys like what my setup is like in this library. I usually like to book a GSR, which is a group study room. I have like whiteboards so you can like literally write whatever you might need. I feel like that's really helpful, especially with nursing, because it can be like so much content that it's like I literally need to write it out. So to book a GSR, I can have like a lot of space and different materials to help me study. I'm gonna give you guys like a little tour of the room. I kind of set up my space to make it functional to how I need it to be. So I have my planner here, of course, to like look and see what I need planned and everything. I have some highlighters, pens, dry erase markers for later, and then of course my laptop. This is where I use everything to study. I got Cedo, some water, and then some snacks for later. And then of course we have the dry erase board like I was telling you guys about, and I have this huge one here, so it's like perfect for what I need. Yeah, this setup is really useful for me for studying because I'm able to like have everything accessible to me. I'm going to go ahead and start studying, but I already dropped some gems for y'all. So first studying tip is definitely to study somewhere that's outside of like your normal like living areas. And if you don't have a library, a local coffee shop is really nice too. Just something where you won't be distracted and you can't lay down anywhere. The way that I like to map out my studying is I do it in blocks. I'm studying for the NCLEX. There's many different ways where you can study. This is just how I personally feel like helping me. I use two resources to help me study, which is NCLEX and UWorld. Yeah, he has lectures on the NCLEX and like literally so many different helpful ways. It makes it so much easier to remember all this information. I also use UWorld and like practice questions, base it off of which subject you want to do. So those are the two things that I've been doing. The way I block it out is I'll listen to a lecture, write notes on that lecture, and I'll study it on Quizlet. After Quizlet, I'll go to UWorld. I'll select questions that's within that subject, and I'll just practice questions on that. And I just do that for each lecture. Probably takes me about like an hour or two per lecture, which is not bad. I'm gonna show you guys how I study and like what that looks like. I'm just pretty much gonna montage everything for right now. Writing notes can be a lot. I feel like you have to figure out your own way to write notes, but I pretty much just write like the main concepts and ideas and highlight any important definitions. There's no like special way that I do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and montage me writing the notes, and then I'll come back and check in with you all after I'm done writing the I've been studying for about an hour and 30 minutes now, and I just finished the first portion of what I want to study. I was pretty much going over calcium channel blockers and chest tubes, which is an area where I kind of struggled in nursing school. I really like learning about the heart. It's really interesting, but the actual specific things about it can be a little hard to understand because it's kind of complex. But I just finished my lecture session for that subject and I already wrote my notes, as y'all saw. So now I'm going to move on to the next step in my studying process, which would be to practice the terms and practice the notes that I've written down. So the way that I'm going to study or practice that is using Quizlet, and that is honestly going to be my other tip, to use different platforms to study. Don't use like just one method of studying. Actually use things that will help you to like practice and apply what you study. I'm going to literally study a Quizlet of this material, and then I'm going to transition to write out everything from memory. So I'm going to go ahead and start studying these quizzes now, and I'll probably like montage this too. Don't sleep when you know you got a good girl. One time, this is a song for the good girl. One wrong with a good girl. One time, this is a song for the good girl. And I still keep it real, still treat you like a silver. I just finished studying through Quizlet. Now I'm going to move on to the third part, which will now be writing everything that I can from memory. I feel pretty comfortable with the notes that I took, and then the Quizlet is studying those flashcards. This is like the key. Like, this is what really helped me get through nursing school. This is a part where it's like, okay, well, if you're not really looking at your notes, you know what's in here. So I'm literally gonna write everything down that I can remember, and then I'm gonna go back to my notes and just check it over and make sure that I didn't miss anything or I didn't get anything wrong. Then I'll review that, and then I'll move on to my last and final step, actually taking practice questions using UWorld. I really do like UWorld as a studying material because it's literally what the questions will look like on the NCLEX. So like, that's the most efficient way where I figure out what they're gonna be asking me and how I'm gonna be expected to apply this information. We're almost done. We're more than halfway done. So now I'm gonna, like I said, write everything from memory, and then I'm gonna do UWorld. So let's see. Hopefully I remember a lot of stuff. Pretty much finished writing everything out from memory. I'm actually really proud of what I was able to remember. This is what it looks like when I'm done being written out. You can see here I had a question. So I forgot the exception for the names of the calcium channel blockers. I just put question mark because I couldn't remember. And looked at my notes and it was this, so I just wrote that there. Anything I wrote in green is like what I could remember. For the most part, I got everything. Now that I went through everything and I feel pretty good about it, I'm going to do the last and the final step to do UWorld questions. I'm going to select it based on cardiac or something that's similar to this topic so that I can see if I actually know what I'm doing. So this is like the home screen, and like I said, I'm going to select all subjects, but I'm going to focus mainly on what I learned today, which is like really cardiovascular, hematological and oncological, medication administration, and skills and procedures, because that possibly might put that in chest tube and safety and control. I'm gonna do 10 questions to start, and I'm gonna generate my test and focus on these subjects for right now. Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. So I am actually back in my place now, and I know I said try not to study from, you know, your place, your apartment or whatever, but the library was closing soon and my phone was also about to die, so I just, you know, had to come back home. But it's fine because I'm in like the last part, which is literally just answering UWorld questions. So I'm gonna finish answering those UWorld questions now. I'm gonna show y'all like some examples of how I use what I learned in answering these questions. This is one of the questions that refers to like what I had learned in lecture. It says a male client with hypertension was prescribed amlodipine. Which of these adverse effects is most important to teach the client to watch for? We know that if it ends in dipine, that is a calcium channel blocker. And with calcium channel blockers, their side effects is hypotension and a headache. Also with calcium channel blockers, they are the negative tropics. So pretty much what they do is they slow down heart function, kind of. I feel like we would select anything that has to deal with lowering stuff. I feel like I should do dizziness because that's like related to a headache. I'm sure that these aren't it. Hey! Okay, you see, it describes it here. It says the calcium channel blockers all end in dipine and they're vasodilators. So full transparency, this is what my score is looking like, okay? I used to be really worried about this when I first was doing UWorld, but I know that a lot of people say as long as you're not failing completely, then it's okay. For a lot of these questions, it was like either select all apply, so it's like I missed one, and it was just like completely wrong. So no, I'm not mad at this score. So this pretty much completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this has helped you guys in thinking more about like how you might want to study as a nursing student or even for the NCLEX. I took you guys through the whole day with me, showed you how I pretty much set up, like being outside my room, how I study in sections, study a lecture, write notes, do a quizlet, then I'll write things from memory, do UWorld questions. That's pretty much like what I do all the time when I'm studying. Just give you some tips on what you should do to like help you be more focused or help things make sense to you. The thing I will say, and I don't think that I mentioned this, was that you have to find your way of studying. So if you're more of a visual learner like me, I would definitely use like writing stuff out. I don't know the other ones, but you know, just depending on how you learn, that's how you might tweak certain things, you know, to fit you. And I really hoped you all learned something about nursing or how to study, you know, whatever it is. If you did, definitely make sure to like this video so that I can know. Also, if you're into this type of content, you definitely should subscribe because listen, I dropped a lot of gems on how to study in here, but that's not the only gems that I'm dropping, okay? I got a whole bunch of other stuff that I do on my channel that you don't want to miss out on, so definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Other than that, thank you guys for watching so much again. I will see you all in my next video.